Okay, I have received questions on how we can solve these three questions in today's assignment. Okay, so for those of you who have actually attended the Zoom, I hope that you are able to complete the worksheet. Okay, for those of you who missed, okay, so I will go through it here in the video, and after I've gone through these three questions, you try to complete the assignment. Okay, so for the question 1E, okay, so we have we need to solve. Okay, that means we need to find the answer for x. Okay, and let's recap. Okay, in our last lesson, we know that on the left hand side, eventually we can only have x. Okay, this is our final. We need to have a x, and on the right hand side, we only can have a number. Okay, a number here. That means a constant term without any variables. Okay, so for these questions, okay, we see brackets. Okay, so as mentioned, every time we see this type of questions, we need to do expansion first. Okay, so we are followed by distributive law. 2 multiplied by 8x, we will get 16x. 2 multiplied by 5, we have 10. Okay, so our left hand side, we have 16x plus 10. And on my right hand side, again, we apply distributive law. 4 times 3x, I have 12x. 4 times 1, I have 4. Okay, so this is the first step that we need to do. That means we expand the bracket, we remove the brackets, okay, by expanding the expressions. Okay, so on the right hand side, I notice that I have variables here. Okay, I need to remove these variables. Okay, so how can we do that? Okay, so I am going to minus away this 12x on my right hand side. Okay, this is something that I added in. Okay, let me use a highlighter to highlight so that just now in Zoom I also use colored. So if you notice it, I'm going to minus away 12x in order to eliminate this 12x. So if I were to minus 12x on my right, on the left, I have to minus 12x as well. Okay, because I need to balance the equation. Okay, if I only do it for one side, I don't do it on the left hand side, then the equation will not be balanced. Okay, so since on the left hand side we have 16x minus 12x, we have 4x. Okay, the 10 is alone, so I plus 10. And on my right hand side, 12x minus 12x, we have 0. So I left with a 4. Okay, next, on the left hand side, I have some numbers that I need to remove. Okay, because we know that on the left hand side, we only can have the variable, we cannot have any numbers. Okay, so I'm going to remove one by one. Okay, so we are going to remove this 10. Okay, so how am I going to remove this 10? We know that 10 minus 10 will give me a 0. So if I were to minus 10 on the left, I need to minus away 10 on my right. Okay, I minus 10 here. I have to minus 10 on my right as well. Okay, so on the left hand side, I left with x, 4x. Okay, 10 minus 10 is 0. And on the right hand side, 4 minus 10, I have negative 6. Okay, the next number that I have to remove is the number 4. Okay, so how can I remove? Just now during our Zoom session, we know that if this is a multiply, in order to remove, we need to divide by the same number. Okay, so same thing, if I were to divide by 4 on the left, I need to divide by 4 on the right. Okay, so 4 and 4 cancel off. I left with x, and this is negative 3 over 2. Okay, I can reduce the lowest, 3 over 2, so it's actually negative 1.5. Okay, so that will be your answer for question number 1E. Okay, the next questions that one of you asked in the WhatsApp. Okay, you want me to go through question number 1F. Okay, so for question 1F, also the same thing. We need to find the value of x. Okay, so on my left hand side, I can only have x, and on my right hand side, I can only have constant term. Okay, so let's remove the bracket. This one I will go through a bit faster. Okay, because it's quite similar to the previous questions. So I have 12x minus 3, and this is equals to 14x minus 35. Okay, I need to remove away my 14x. So I'm going to add a term minus 14x on the left, on the right, and have to minus away 14x on my left. Okay, remember that we have to do it for both sides so that we can balance the equation. Okay, so 12x minus 14x, we have negative 2x, minus 3 remain. 14x minus 14x no more, so I left with negative 35 on my right. Okay, I'm going to remove my negative 3. So I add a 3 on my left. I also add a 3 on my right. Okay, so I left with negative 2x. And on the right, I left with negative 32. Okay, you can use your calculator to actually help you. Okay, and same thing, I'm going to divide by negative 2 on each side. So negative 2 and negative 2 cancel. So on the left, I left with x. And on my right, I have 16. So this is your answer. Okay, so if you can do the 1E, 1F shouldn't be any problem for many of you. Okay, because you just need to follow the steps. Try to remove the variables on the right. And then you try to slowly remove the numbers on the left. And you should be able to get it. Okay, the third questions that I saw in the WhatsApp, that is question number 2D. Okay, so for question number 2D, if you notice the expression is a bit longer. Okay, and it shouldn't be any problem if you are careful with your expanding and simplification. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, I have mentioned many times in class, okay, that whenever you see a negative sign and a bracket, you have to be extremely careful. Okay, because if you have a negative sign and if you want to remove the bracket, the sign inside the bracket must change. Okay, so let's try this. So we have 9x. Alright, so this is a positive x. So I'm going to expand it. It will change to negative because it's a positive here. So you have negative 2x. This is a positive. I need to change to a negative also. So 2 times 8 is equals to minus 16. And this will give me 5x minus 11. I just write the same. Okay, so before we are going to bring elimination, before we are going to do elimination, let us simplify the expression first if we can. Okay, so 9x minus 2x, they are the same term. 9 minus 2 is 7, so we have 7x minus 16 equals to 5x minus 11. Okay, so on the right hand side, I need to remove my 5x. Okay, I need to eliminate this. So I'm going to minus 5x on my right. And then at the same time, I minus 5x on my left. Okay, so 7x minus 5x, I have 2x. And 5x minus 5x missing. So I left with negative 11. Oh, sorry, let me zoom out a bit. I think much better. Okay, so this is negative 16. Okay, I need to eliminate away. So I add a 16 on my left. I also add a 16 on my right. So 2x is equals to 5. Okay, negative 11 plus 16 will give me a 5. And of course, you divide by 2 on each side. So your x is equals to 2.5. Okay, so that will be answer. Okay, so I hope that with these 3 questions, you are more clear in the solving of linear equations. Okay, as I mentioned during the Zoom, we have one more worksheet to go. Okay, so I will invite you for Zoom again before the last session that you have on the 4th of May, where you have to take a test. Okay, thank you very much.